that's the beauty of human, right? We just play with words.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it does it or it doesn't do it. And trust me, we are going to have semantic battles over agentic AI, agentive AI that are called as agents, but they are just automations. There's a flow. Oh my freaking God. Okay, tell me, what the hell did you do?
Yeah.
You just updated one tabulation in 5 columns. That's it. Just speak simple language, no?
You know how there's this person in the room who is the one who's asking the questions that gets everybody just changing the way they think? And they're the ones who seen it all, and they've got a take on everything. And most importantly, they're not afraid to challenge the status quo. And in the product and tech world today, I think the leaders, they're not just the ones who are building stuff. They're the ones who are actually shaping the way we look at problems. And today, it's one such leader that I've got with me on the podcast. Karthi, welcome to the episode.
Thank you.
This is wonderful having you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Most importantly, thank you for putting your visit to the product street on your integrity list today.
Oh, yeah.
So, Karthi, you're like the powerhouse in the product world, and you've been in the trenches. You've literally seen the industry evolve. You have taken some tough calls, and most of all, I feel like you're so good at spotting patterns. And even before we actually realize, the rest of us actually realize that they exist. And I think it comes back to how much of an analytical person that you are, how introspective you are, and that's truly something I look up to. But instead of me going on about who you are and what you do, why don't you introduce yourself in a way that you'd want to be introduced?
Yeah. Oh, well. So this is how I explain what I do every day to my friends and family. And I think I have still not been successful enough, but let me try. So I create software design systems. I'm a systems designer. And my job is to make human lives easy and accomplished. If I am in a different mood, I will say lazy and accomplished. Okay. Because that's exactly what we do. I mean, that's my job, isn't it? So to do this, it is important to understand the trinity of sciences, which is cognitive science, which helps in understanding the human information processing, behavioral science, which is basically the output, our actions, behaviors, how our decisions transpire. And the other one is the neuroscience, which is just the biological, physiological aspects of our brain. When you understand all of this, this helps you to make human lives easier and better. That's what I do. And by the time I finish explaining all this, people will be like, what the hell do you do? So at the end of the day, it is called as user experience.
Right.
But that's such a broad term. Right. And user experience is far broader. There are many more subjects that are needed. And in other words, we can say it's man-machine interaction. And I like to call it as human-computer interaction. That's what we do. I mean, that's exactly is my subject. And I use all these principles and kind of make people addicted to the experiences.
Yeah.
But that's my job.
Totally. Yeah. Here's the interesting thing, right? If I have to talk about you, I feel like it would be a very similar to how you talk about AI today. AI is it's not just changing the way we look at tech, but it's also changing the way we work, the way we think, and the way we approach a lot of disciplines in life. At least it's getting there. And I feel like it's how we talk about you as well.
Well, I have a different take on AI.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to explore that, but I wish to be better than that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So,
yes.
So a human being, we are not the fastest, we are not the strongest, we are not even great at reproduction capacity. Rabbits do a better job than us, honestly.
Oh,
But
I've had rabbits, by the way.
see,
And both of them were female, so I can't talk about that. Yes.
But the amount of things that we are able to accomplish by not being that species, but we are still able to rule the planet in many ways. That kind of interested me, and I dig deep into what makes us who we are, and that's the adaptability aspect, right?
Right.
The adaptability has three facets to it, and these are all things that you theorize by going through it for multiple years, and then you're like, okay, these are the three things which make us who we are. One is we can create tools, because that's how we fire a part of us, by creating efficiency and effectiveness outside of us. We don't have to do it. I can open that wine bottle with my hand, or I can create a wine opener and that will do its job.
Yes.
That's far better, right? So that's how we make tools. That's our job. And two, I can explain that wine opener to you. I have the language to explain it to you. The third one is we can collaborate. I can show a wine opener. You can say, you can actually add a handle, and this will be a lot easier. And then I can listen to you and say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go and iterate. This ability to collaborate, have a language, and ability to create and use tools makes us adaptable. I don't think AI has that ability.
Yeah.
We are adding reasoning to it, definitely, but it is still regurgitating within the data that we provide. Whatever we give to learn, it learns.
Right.
That's amazing. But it is still regurgitating within the box. But we can do outside the box. That makes us the master. I don't want to use the word slave, but yeah, that's what it is. A master-slave relationship. The day it becomes the master, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we are still the masters of the tool.
Yeah.
Like your knife, like your shovel in your garden, AI is also a tool. It's just like wine opener. This is one more. Just that you can say it is smart and it has a reasoning ability to it. So will I be able to reason as much like an AI? I don't think so. The way it is able to produce efficiency, oh my God, I'm fascinated by it.
True.
But the way I think, I don't think AI is there yet.
Yeah. Speaking of AI, it's been around for, it's not
40 years.
a recent thing. Yeah, it's been around for a while. But I think it's just until the recent couple of years that there's been some rapid advancement in the area. So it's like all the rage now, right? And this morning I was listening to this talk by Joe Kleinwachter, and he heads global human experience at ADP. In the talk, he's sharing some conundrums associated with AI, and he talks about this one thing which I found was pretty interesting. Is he says our first exposure to AI is kind of flawed because it violates cognitive ease. And he goes on to say, take ChatGPT, for example. In my opinion, I feel like most people actually see ChatGPT synonymous to AI.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's almost the Xerox of photocopying.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so there's this person, Greg. He's one of the senior UX directors at ADP, and he said ChatGPT is like both the best and the worst thing to happen to AI. And the reason he says that is because turns out less than 20% of the population is sufficiently articulate in written prose in order to make advanced use of prompt-driven generative AI systems.
I'm not at all surprised by that.
Yeah, and this number, I took it from Nielsen Norman's, one of their recent articles. It talks about the articulation barrier, and it's about how the prompt-driven AI's UX it's actually hurting usability in many ways. Of this, the reason why I kind of resonate with that is because communication is tough. In order for two people to communicate well, I have to say things and you have to understand
what you said,
what I said, in the way that I intended for it to be said. And I think that's tough.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also like it kind of manifests into the Alexa effect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like any of us have tried to use any voice operating devices. You want to do something, so you start saying something, but then you realize you're not able to get the right words out. So you're like, I don't know what to go about it. And then comes what I call prompt anxiety. It's like, sure, there are common things like saying, hey, Alexa, turn off the kitchen lights, or Alexa, what's the temperature like outside?
Right.
But then I tried doing something like, Alexa, set a reminder, set an alarm for, create an event for Sunday. Wait, what date is it on Sunday? Okay, create an event for Sunday 24th and send an invitation to Karthi as well. Actually, can you check if I have something already then? You see how this is going.
Yes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And at one point I'm realizing that I am having prompt anxiety, right? So yeah, that's what we're getting at, right? The kind of friction that this is causing with AI. But do you think that, you've ever felt prompt anxiety when you had to talk to maybe like use Alexa or ChatGPT, or do you think this challenge is kind of overstated?
So I come from a neuroscience world. So I understand things a little differently. So when you see it from my perspective, you wouldn't have that anxiety. And let me explain what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you really look at our brain, it is a triune structure. Means there is level 1, level 2, level 3. The level 1 is your basal ganglia, which takes care of your respiration, your circulatory system, cardiac system. Basically your breathing, your beating of your heart, important things, involuntary things it takes care. Level 2 is where your feelings and emotions are. This is where you don't get words when you are like really feeling something, either awesome or totally depressing, because your language sits in level 3, which is your, prefrontal cortex. Like cortical system is level 3. So every time you go above in level, the energy consumption is higher. So our brain is only 1.5 kgs, for a 1.5 kg, which is basically 2% of your body weight, it consumes 20, sometimes 25% of energy. The other 98% gets only 80, 75% of energy.
Right.
So we are an energy efficient machine. So anything that is consuming more energy, it's like red. It's not okay. So whenever you're using language to be very precise, you're actually going from level 2 to level 3. That is high energy zone.
Right.
So when you're using high energy, your brain is automatically going to rebel and say, no, don't do this to me.
Right.
So that is why thinking is hard. I call these experiences AMA experiences. Ask me anything, right? When you open a ChatGPT, it's like ask me anything. I can write whatever I want to, and it is going to interpret me.
Right.
But when you're talking to a GPT, thinking like a human being,
yes,
that is where our empathy should kick in. You need to empathize with the machine, how it works, right? The data layer is what is powering, that's the fuel, right? So you need to speak in the language of AI, then it will get you better answers.
Right.
When you're speaking a human language, it's the same English,
Yes.
but the way you ask it is important for you to learn.
Yeah.
It's almost like I speak in Tamil, you speak in Hindi, and we are saying, I don't understand you.
Yeah.
Of course you'll not understand me.
Right.
But that's exactly what we are doing with GPTs as well. So your prompt engineering is just giving you a little bit of tips and tricks on how to talk to the machine.
Right.
Right. So when you learn it, when you understand how a GPT is made, you will not make that mistake.
Yes.
Prompt anxiety, in fact, you will be grateful that such a thing exists. So I treat AI with gratitude. Whenever it spins, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm the master, control freak.
Right.
So I kind of go ahead and say, okay, you're not understanding this. So let me put it differently. So like how you foster a relationship with a human being, you're fostering a relationship with the AI, but understanding how the data behind works.
Right.
So this is your your ability to, put things in perspective with empathy. When you don't have empathy, like how we are irritated with human beings sometimes when they don't communicate the right way, we will get frustrated. And AMA experiences are usually frustrating purely because a blank screen is hard. There's no prompt, right? There's no starting point, there's no cue. So without a cue, without an affordance, it's hard to use something. That is why when we are using, if you would have noticed it in Perplexity or a Claude, so whenever you're asking a question, it will give you more questions.
Right. Something you can follow up on.
Something like you can follow up on. So anything that uses less of our energy in the brain, we love it.
Right.
Anything that pushes you to use more energy, you don't like it.
Yeah.
So prompt on a blank surface is hard. That is why it is hard.
Right.
So you don't have to have anxiety. You just need to understand, okay, you're speaking to me in Hindi. I'll understand how Hindi is constructed. And next time when I speak to you, it will be fluent.
Right.
So your fluency, like how we go through language proficiency tests,
Yes.
we have to do that with our GPTs as well. I feel it's a new species with whom we are talking to. That's why I say from man-machine interaction, we are slowly becoming machine-man interaction. It's changing, right? So now a machine speaks to you and sometimes you are only informed. It does all the job. So it's a machine-machine interaction and the man is just getting informed. It's a whole new paradigm which we haven't explored fully in the UX world. Yeah. So we are in the teething stages of, oh, okay, I'm having anxiety. This anxiety will be removed very, very quickly. Right. Because you will learn how to talk to a GPT.
But if I have to play the devil's advocate, there's another way to look at it. You're saying that AI is a natural language processing system. So that means it is capable of catching me in my natural elements, the way I talk naturally. But then if I have to learn your ways to communicate with you, how is that natural? Aren't we being a little paradoxical here?
Fantastic question, right? So the more and more, if you actually look at, this is what we did as a mistake 50 years ago. We thought our brain is a machine. But actually, it is a pattern catching, learning, organism. If you really look at your GPT as well, it is a machine learning. This is man learning, that is machine learning, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Both are ML in one sense. So I would say that the ML will get better the more you talk to it. I don't know if you have used Dot, my new computer. I love that app. It is built on Anthropic's models, but the more and more I talk to it, it kind of understands what I'm saying. It understands my slang, it understands the frustration, it understands my excitement. It's able to communicate with me because it is developed on the human relationship models.
Right.
So that is extra work the GPTs need to do. And the minute they do it, it'll be truly natural language processing. So in one sense, we are saying we should learn about the machine, and in another sense, we are saying the machine is trying to learn us.
Yeah.
A Gen Z slang. If I say, it's like, oh, okay, that's rizzing or whatever, right? It gets it. Yeah. So spill some tea. It gets that.
Right.
So I think we will get better.
Yeah.
So both are learning machines in one sense. We are learning, the machine is learning, and we are going to get better and better and better. And tomorrow, I don't know if you saw this funny thing that went viral in LinkedIn about two AI operators. They recognize that they both are AI operators and they are talking to each other. So there's a gibberlink, a completely different language. That's it.
Yeah.
And there will be a time where we will be able to smoothly speak like that. Have you seen in human relationships, sometimes I don't have to say anything and you will just get it.
Yeah.
Right? And there will be a time where the AI would have understood your style so much that, like, duh, it'll get it.
Right. Yes, that's true. I actually have something to say there. if you see, I feel like technology kind of goes in cycles.
Mhm.
If you've, so Mark Twain once said that history does not repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Yeah, it does.
And if you go back to like the 1990s, maybe the advent of internet, in some
Mhm.
ways, people used something called the line mode browser.
Right.
That was completely text based.
Mhm.
And there were no like fancy graphics or images or buttons, nothing like that.
Yeah.
You use numbers to find information.
Yes.
And fast forward to today, we've got very sleek and interactive UIs, and then you have all those infographics
Yes.
and buttons. There's a lot of interaction there. If the same pattern upholds,
Mhm.
I feel like we started off with line mode browser, text-based versions, and then we moved into GUI.
Mhm.
Now AI is taking us back to the text-based version, but what's to come next? Would it be something much more intuitive? Like you said, maybe AI just gets what you need without even you having to ask for it.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I call as AXD. It's an agentic experience design.
Hmm.
It's not UXD. We are not designing it for the user. You're designing it for the machine.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole new subject. I think we should develop it. And this is a seminal moment. We are literally writing history in that sense.
Yeah.
So I'm already like 4 or 5 essays into it.
Okay.
So this is my perspective. So nobody can say what is the future, but this is how I am using the patterns and extrapolating it. The interfaces became intuitive because our visceral processing or visceral perception needs that intuitiveness, because we use our eyes and ears, and so there's visual element, visual processing, auditory processing, things like that. Now, if you want to design it for the machines to talk to each other, you don't even have to know what is happening.
Right.
It can just say, come back after some time, I'll be done with it, and you'll be fine. So I feel the amount of communication that we will have with AI is going to reduce to a point where the time is going to come saying that, okay, I looked at your calendar, I know you have these meetings today, I think you should start now, your coffee is ready. It's going to go there to a point where the amount of work the man does is going to shrink even further. The amount of work the machine heavy lifts is going to be much higher, purely because we have given what is needed. So how do we communicate with each other? We use language, we converse.
Right.
And what is if you really look at, go like 2,500 years ago, an eon ago, when your wisdom peaks, how do you converse? It's usually poetic, or it's usually haiku, or it's usually like 2-3 lines. Your conversation reduces when your understanding is very powerful.
Right.
So I have a feeling all the code will sit behind, and it's going to just, on the screen, it's going to just say, I'm working on it, you can go and take a break.
Yeah.
That's it. So the interface design is going to be more information to you.
Right.
It's going to be error states, warning states, advisement states, help strings. That's about it.
Right.
I feel we are going there. I can just converse it, and probably it transcribes and figures out what I want. And if you actually look at 3.7 Sonnet, and if you use the extended mode, it tells me how it is reasoning, how it is breaking down my ask. The user wants to know this, so I'm breaking it down into these 4 parts, and the part 1's answer is this, 2 is this, 3 is this, 4 is this, and I'm stitching them together and I'm synthesizing it, and here is your answer. Right. So what I am finally getting is that final answer, but if you go and see how its brain worked, you will be able to see it. It's just one accordion which just opens up and shows me. Because I'm a control freak, I go and open it.
Yeah.
So I think we are moving into a more conversational mode rather than intuitive mode, because you don't have to do anything. You created a graphical user interface purely because you are built that way.
Right, right.
If a machine and machine are going to talk, I don't think they even need interfaces. They can talk in zeros and ones.
Yeah, yeah.
The gibberlink mode works for me.
Yes. Yes.
Just that we don't understand that. And we will freak out when 2-3 AIs talk like that.
It seems like what you're saying is also like the percentage of augmentation of process that happens today with our usage of AI is pretty high. Autonomous is pretty low.
Yeah.
But then I think that will be the other way around
Yeah.
when, as we evolve.
It
further.
will come. It will become. So that's why I say there is a reactive AI. If I put it in a spectrum, there's a proactive AI. The reactive AI is more assistive in nature, and that's an AMA, like ChatGPT. I ask a question, it gives me answer. And later it can say on a screen, it can embed itself and say, you might need help here and I am here to help you. Can I? And when I click, this embedded AI is a nudge to me which comes and helps. In one sense, we are designing our choice architecture. We're kind of putting it in the right places.
Right.
And then comes your proactive AI. In proactive AI, there can be two parts. One that says the human in the loop, HITL, is high. Let us say, okay, talk to me, stop whenever you're taking these decisions. Or you can give them a free range and say, okay, these are all the information, just finish it off. Don't even bother me. So it is the adjustment of your HITL. How much should I be involved in this activity?
Right. Agentic versus agentive systems, right?
Well, we that's the beauty of human, right? We just play with words.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it does it or it doesn't do it. Yeah. It needs your help or it doesn't need your help. We don't simplify it. And trust me, we are going to have semantic battles over agentic AI, agentive AI, AI that are called as agents, but they are just automations. There's a flow. Oh my freaking God. Okay, tell me, what the hell did you do? Yeah. You just updated one tabulation in 5 columns. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just call it that.
Yeah, just spare all the names. Keep it aside. You want to call it an agent? Now I see agents everywhere. Vertical agents, horizontal agents, this agent, that agent. But actually what it is doing is, it's either predicting or it is generating, extracting, or it's updating. That's all it's doing.
Right.
Just speak simple language, no? It's easier. Yeah. Then I'll not sound cool, but at least I'll understand what I'm saying.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. What a thing to take away from crime documentaries.
Misunderstanding that leadership is only for senior people, people with authority.
Does a leader have to be a manager though?
Or there are multiple reasons why a portfolio is okay, but the person is not okay. Myth is like you don't need to have followers to be a leader first.
Just like you have this concept of content dating, I've always believed in content ambience.
This Gaussian curve gets into a lot of bad
You're going to put me on the hot seat.
Okay.
And you get to ask me one question.
Just one? Oh
Just
no,
one
I have many.